Okay, so welcome back everybody to your class this week. Um, I forgot to hit record, so I'm starting over. Here's where we left off last day. We did these two examples, and now these two I haven't done, and I'm going to start with this example on the right. So the first thing we do, and I apologize for starting over to the people who are already here, it's just for my YouTube. I want to count the longest chain of carbons. Now, obviously, that's in green, right? You can see it there in green. But if there wasn't green, like the highlighting, some people might want to try to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're getting 6 and 7. So if I can, yes?
Why you didn't go left while you're counting from down?
Oh, so I'm just trying to show you if if you were doing this on a test, you know, you have to count the longest chain. It could start anywhere in the molecule. It could start here, it could start here, here, or here. So I'm just kind of trying to show you why this is your longest chain. Okay, I'm kind of treating it like I've never seen this before. So again, the other chains I counted were 7 and 6. This chain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 is my winner. I know that this is octane. Now this one brings up a really interesting issue though. I could number this left to right, or I could number this right to left. So my goal here is to get the smallest numbers possible, okay? Notice, guys, no matter what I do, if I go, let's say I'm going, let me change my color. I wish I was in person. This is a lot easier in person. If I was going left to right, my first group is on the 4th, my second group is on the 5th. So I'm getting 4 and 5 as my substituents or my branches. If I start going the other way, I get 4 and 5 as well. So really, following my rules, it doesn't matter which way I number this chain. I can go left to right or right to left. I'm still getting 4 or 5. So this kind of brings me to my next, it's not necessarily a rule, but the next way I would think about this. Well, why don't I number them where I hit the alphabetical order first, meaning I'll make the ethyl the lowest number. This is just being kind of picky. If you had this question for me personally on a test and you numbered left to right or right to left, because the numbers 4 and 5 are the same, I would give you full marks. But for me personally, and I'm just going to clear out my drawings, I think since it doesn't truly matter which way I go, I'm going to go the way that gives me E first and then M, alphabetical order. Okay, so that's just personal preference. I mean, it's probably a rule somewhere, but like naming isn't really the biggest part of your program. Where, you're chemical engineers, you're dealing with, especially in this course, petroleum. So, little things like this, I don't care. But personally, I would go left to right so I could get ethyl, the first number. So on the 4th carbon, I have an ethyl group. Ethyl because it has 1, 2 carbons. On the 5th carbon, I have a methyl or methyl group because they only have 1 carbon. And that's my name. 4 ethyl, 5 methyl, octane. Every time you write a number, you put a hyphen there. Before or after every number, you need hyphens. And when you're done naming your branches, it's one word with the last branch or substituent. So I don't put a space here. I notice a lot of students put a space there. You don't. It's all one word. Like technically, this is all one big word with hyphens. So 4-ethyl-5-methyl octane sounds really complicated, but it's not. Now, this is something we definitely haven't done before in this class. This idea of, well, what if you have two of the same functional groups on the same carbon? And it's totally possible. You can even sometimes have three functional groups. Well, not on the same carbon, I guess. Not normal, nothing that I know of would be breaking the rules. But if you have the same functional groups, you need to use a prefix. And if you guys have your notes or a piece of paper in front of you or your notes in front of you, you might want to write down a couple of prefixes. You only need to really know 3. Well, I guess you could get away with 2. These are number prefixes. Oops. If you have on your molecule 2 of the same functional groups, you would use the word di. If you have 3, you would use tri. And if you have 4, you would use tetra. But between me and you, I don't think I've ever used a tetra example in this course. I've only done di and tri. Okay, let me explain this one. I think I'm going to show you guys another one, and then I'm going to ask you to do a bit of practice, and I'll check the time. I can't believe it's 10 o'clock already. I shouldn't say wasted, but I used a lot of time to talk about the assignments and stuff. But anyways, here we go. Let me show you how this one works. And I think I'm going to show you one more and then get you guys to practice. Okay, so obviously my longest chain is here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. So it's pentane, no problem. I have 2 groups sticking off of this second carbon. They are both methyl. So what you do when you name this is you have to tell me, like, it's almost like you're giving me directions to a place. You know, when I first came to Doha, well, it's kind of the same thing. I remember, you know, there wasn't like street names and numbers. Like where I'm from, you could just say, oh, I'm on the corner of 10th and 56th Street, you know. But here it was like a landmark. You know, I used to, when I moved here, I lived right next to Sports Roundabout. So if I ever got into a taxi or, you know, someone was driving me and they said, where do you live? I could say Alsat, but I just say near Sports. And they just would take me to Sports Roundabout, and there I live. Now I'm out in Lucille. That's not as good of directions, but you have to give me directions to where these groups are. And you can't just say 2-methylpentane because you're not telling me all of the directions. There are 2 methyls, and they are both on the second carbon. They don't have to be. This could be 2,3-dimethylpentane, meaning there's a methyl on the second or third. So you have to give me all of the numbers, and if there's 2 of the same, you use di. If there's 3 of the same, you use tri. Let me show you another example here, okay? And maybe this will make a bit more sense. So like, I'll just take a hydrocarbon. Let's take a big one. Let's put some methyls here. So 1, 2, 3. Let's put 3 methyl groups on this. Okay, so naming. You can already tell I'm a left to right type of person. It's just how I guess I was raised. So 1, 2, sorry about that. Let me put numbers there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the parent is octane. The suffix is the family, meaning it's an alkane, but we're only naming alkanes today. I don't know why that won't erase. Why won't that erase? Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. Technical issue. So this is obviously octane. And on the third, fourth, and fifth carbon, I have groups. And they all happen to be methyl. Between us, guys, most of the groups you will see will be methyl or ethyl. You might see a propyl every once in a while, but mostly they'll be one carbon or two carbons. Okay, so I would name this 3, 4, 5. Because there's 3 of them, I would use tri, and then I would say methyl, octane. I was just about to say pentane. I don't know why. Octane. Oh man, this pen. It seems to be getting worse. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, trimethyl octane. That's, I mean, guys, these are crazy chemicals I'm naming. They're not the common ones you would see in the lab, but there you go. Okay, so why don't you guys, I'll put myself on mute so you don't have to listen to me. Why don't you guys take a couple minutes and try these two? And then I might introduce cycloalkanes, and that'll be it for today. So I'm going to mute myself. I'll give you 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, so we got some really good answers in the chat there. We had one one answer in the chat where they called this 4, 5, and I was wondering if there was another way to number this. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, could we get these branches at a lower number? And someone in the chat said, let's go right to left. And I think that's going to work. So let's see here. And by the way, guys, when you're doing this, you could go 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter. You can start here. This is still a methyl group. It won't change your name. But I don't know. I just prefer to start at this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So I know this is hexane. On the second and third carbons, I have the same functional group, methyl. So if you guys did this and you said 2, 3, methyl, hexane, all one word, you are correct. Something I just mentioned before I hit record is that I'm not too picky, you know, if it's not spelled perfectly. Again, this is not a crazy university chemistry course where you had to name everything perfectly. You know, if you were speaking this out loud and you said it correctly, or you said it like even like with an accent, you know, I don't care. So if you mix up the Y and the L by accident, it's not a big deal. But you really got to be careful. I need to see some form of methyl and hexane. You definitely can't say hexene and then say it's a typo or a spelling mistake, because that type of spelling mistake will mean you're talking about a completely different chemical, and that could be dangerous. Okay, dimethylhexane and dimethylhexene are completely different chemicals. Okay, cool. So this one, this is kind of a repetitive question, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's definitely my longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so that's my longest chain. But in order to get my numbers lower, this is a 4, 5 type of situation, I could number from the other direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try these. On the third, I have a methyl. On the fourth, I have an ethyl. Okay, methyl ethyl. And this is 7, so that's heptane. Heptane, heptane, heptane. So, okay, I haven't looked back at the chat in a minute, but the last student I looked at named this correctly. You might, and guys, this is wrong. Do not write this down. You might be tempted to say, okay, 3 comes first, so 3-methyl, what was it, 4-ethyl heptane. Okay, and if you did that on a test, I don't think I'd take off too much marks, maybe none, I don't know, but this is not right technically. We need alphabetical order, okay? And this is not alphabetical. So E comes before M. So the answer, I'll put a little X up here, the answer would of course be 4-ethyl, 3-methyl or methyl heptane. All right, cool. So guys, I think I'm gonna finish there because it is 10:13. I have another class after this, and I mean, there's only so much we can really do online before it starts to get annoying. um, if you guys ever had me in the real class, I'd go for the full time sometimes. But anyways, today I think I'll stop here. The last thing I'll mention for you guys before we finish, and tomorrow we'll do cycloalkanes. So we'll talk about ring shapes. But if you guys want some practice on this, I have uploaded worksheets with answer keys on your D2L. I uploaded that this week. So there are worksheets for units 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on your D2L. And you can check them out again under content on D2L. So that's it for me. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow where we'll practice the last part of naming. And that's it. So have a great day. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, you can go